Welcome back, everyone. I am still at the PMI Global Congress 2014 in Phoenix, obviously, and I'm still sitting next to Dave Cornelius.
And I'm still hanging out with
Hello
Cornelius
again.
Fitzner.
All right. Our next topic that we want to speak about is your presentation that you're going to give here at the Congress. Have you already given it?
I've given this not at the Congress, but I'm giving it tomorrow morning at 10 a.m.
Here at the Congress.
Here at the Congress.
Okay. So what is the title of your presentation?
The title is The PM Role, the Project Manager's Role in a Lean and Agile World.
And the reason for this is there is no official project management role in all the descriptions of Agile, right?
That is true.
So what's going to happen to me?
You will need to learn to inspect and adapt.
Okay. Inspect and adapt. All right. So this is for all those project managers out there whose companies are thinking about changing to Agile and who may be a bit worried about what is going to happen to me. I'm a project manager. How am I going to fit into this Agile team, into this Agile and lean world, right?
That's exactly it. And
Do they have to be afraid?
I don't think they have to be afraid if they're working in an enterprise model. And matter of fact, I don't even think they have to be afraid if it's a departmental model. The reality is there must be a transformation of the current thinking of the traditional project manager to where you become a coach and a facilitator in the process. Because guess what? The teams are self-organizing. We have very smart people who know exactly how to do their jobs. What they need is coaching in the process and for someone to remove impediments, things that are blocking the team from being successful.
Isn't that something that most project leaders should actually already be doing today without even using Agile?
That is the original intent of project management, because the definition is the project manager is responsible for leading the team who provides a value to the customer. And that's a PMI PMBOK definition of the role of the project manager, leadership, not management.
Right. Okay. So my company is switching to Agile. The traditional role of project manager is going away. What's going to happen to me now?
Well, my concept is that there are three different roles that I look at. I said the PM is a lagging PM.
A lagging PM.
A lagging PM.
Somebody who comes behind.
Explains the past.
Okay.
It's thinking of the financial world.
Okay.
Lagging indicators. Or it's a leading PM, which is leading indicators. And the other one is the strategic PM.
Okay.
So you think of the lagging PM, and their role is really a lot involved with gathering metrics. There's a role in Agile called a scrum master. And the scrum master, his role is primarily responsible for making sure that the team is fully engaged in the process of scrum, but also removing impediments so that the team could be successful. And so they run a lot of the rituals. The same thing is that I'm saying, hey, that is a very lagging role. So this is something that a PM could do extremely well in. I think also as a product owner, the person who's responsible for prioritizing work, interacting with stakeholders and the customer, project managers have those skills as well. I think that's another excellent opportunity for a project manager to step into and be successful in that context.
What about the leading project management role?
Now, the leading role, it's more proactive, where you're anticipating issues that may come up and you're getting ahead of the curve and you're working through solving those problems. It's in terms of setting up training, setting up workshops, making sure that you could get some of the stakeholders involved early in the process. So the leading role is involved in that process of really trying to get ahead of the curve of some of the anticipated risks that may come along.
Mm-hmm. And then you also have the strategic PM. What is the strategic PM doing?
And the strategic PM is more, he works on the what I would call the project portfolio level. And so he's involved with the organization of gathering all of the different customer demands and really helping the organization prioritize and figure out exactly what will we invest in today. And then helping the alignment from portfolio down to the execution team to make sure that there's alignment from the top to the bottom. So the strategic PM is really looking at the big picture and making sure that the key stakeholders are aware of here's the status and here's how the project is performing in terms of meeting customer demand and actually adding customer value.
Mm-hmm. So we have 4 potential roles that the current project manager, the traditional project manager, can step into.
There's actually more.
Well, okay, the ones we've heard: the lagging project manager, the product owner, the leading PM, the strategic PM. Let's stick with these for just a second. What's the transition that I, as a project manager, have to go through? How do I get there? Would you recommend that I become a certified Scrum Master, a CSPO, that I take the ACP training certificate from PMI? Where do you think it would best get started?
I think you have to go through training. It's like any change management activity. Learning is important, right? You have to get some level of training. So yes, get the PMI ACP, do the CSM, the Certified Scrum Master. If you could get the Certified Product Owner, get those training under your belt, get involved in your local Agile communities, start contributing. And I think that's one way of getting really involved and getting knowledgeable about what to be anticipated. And of course, listen to your podcast about the PM role in the Lean and Agile world, and also the white paper and the PowerPoint presentation that we'll have available.
Yes, they will be available from PMI to PMI members to download.
Yes, that's correct.
Right.
But I also take the same information and put it up on my website.
Is that the dave-cornelius.com website?
That's correct. I made sure it's available there so people could get that information for free who are non-PMI members, because I believe this information is vital and important for the transformation and the transition of project managers to these roles.
Okay. So these are sort of the roles that probably everybody can instantly understand and say, yep, these are the 4. But you said there were more. What are the others?
Well, release management.
Release management?
Yes. You have to take a product from inception to the market.
Right.
So someone has to get through that process. So release management is another opportunity that's available. There are other roles like they call it Scrum Master, where you're dealing with integration across multiple teams, making sure that everyone is aligned to exactly the same goal. And if there are impediments, how do we resolve them? You ever work in certain teams where you have 3 or 4 teams working together and they stop playing well together? You know that.
Never happens.
Yeah, never. So that's a key role, the Scrum Masters, to make sure those teams are working well together. And then in the Scale Agile framework called SAFE, there's this one role called a Release Train Engineer.
A Release Train Engineer.
Yes,
okay.
RTE, Release Train Engineer. And that role is pretty much involved with ensuring that there's full alignment across portfolio, program, and the Scrum teams. And so one of the great things in our framework is that once a quarter, everyone comes together in a room and we talk about what are the top 10 items that you want to work on and what's the priority. Which one is number 1? You can only have number 1. You've worked in projects where which one is number 1? All 5 of them. Yeah. All 10 is number 1. Here you can only
They're all equally important.
Yes. Not here.
And that's why nothing gets done.
That's right. And in this case, so you have the CIO is involved, which is unheard of. You have the CIO at these meetings. You have maybe the COO, sometimes the CEO. People at that level come to these meetings once a quarter, and they give a broad overview of this is what we're going to do for the next 3 months. Everyone gets aligned. Everyone works on the same goals and objectives. At the end of the 3 months, everyone comes back together. Yes, we did, or we did not. But there are also checkpoints. But the release train engineers is critical for that level of integration. So they're all, and this is natural skills that we have as project managers, isn't it? We do that all the time.
Yeah. So my interpretation of what I've heard so far is things are changing.
Yes.
The world is changing to a more agile approach in many organizations. It's not scary for project managers, but we have to get used to the fact that our roles will change in Agile. There's no longer the command and control center type project manager that we are used to today in a waterfall world, but it's more the integrator, the supporter, the project manager that leads through influence,
yes.
Right? That helps the team to move forward. So we're still there, we're still needed, but we're needed in a different role?
Yes, and that's the whole point. We are needed in the way that we were originally intended to be. And that's just my opinion. I believe the military kind of took us to this command and control model. But I believe when the whole plan and idea about project managers per se is to really be more of a leader and a facilitator to make sure people could work well together and the stakeholders are aware of what's going on. that's really our role, not to tell someone how to do their jobs because they went to college. They're very well skilled. And so if we create an environment in a space where they can be successful, it's amazing how teams respond to that. And so that's our role.
For tomorrow, for your presentation, what is the number one thing that you want people to take away from your talk?
I want people to walk away feeling that there are options. There are options for them. If they walk into this scenario that they walk into a town hall meeting and their CEO is up there saying, we're going to become a lean and agile shop starting tomorrow, that they go, I know what that means. I know what it means, and I know what that means for me. I know exactly how I need to adapt to be successful, to be a change agent through this process. Because also remember, the organization is not going to automatically adapt Agile wholeheartedly from the top to the bottom. You may still have a blend. So you may be a catalyst to be able to bring those two worlds together, agility and non-agile organizations, so they could work well together. So I said, to feel empowered and know that they have the right knowledge to be able to be successful when this happens to them. Because I've been through that. And the feeling is, what do I do now? I don't schedule anything. I don't do any of this stuff. What do I do? I had to learn to facilitate. I had to learn to coach. I had to really work on those skills, communication, integration, stakeholder management. Those skills I had to really rely on in this process, as opposed to worrying about scheduling.
Excellent. It's good to know that we have options.
We do have options.
Thank you so much for your time again.
Well, thank you so much.